82 years ago, the most powerful military force ever assembled nearly destroyed itself before it fired a single shot. D-Day, June 6th, 1944. You know the victory. You've seen the monuments. But what the textbooks skip is this. At nearly every minute of that day, the whole operation was one bad decision, one rogue wave, one missed signal away from becoming the greatest military catastrophe in history. This isn't the story of triumph. This is the story of a plan falling apart in slow motion and the desperate innovations that kept stitching it back together. On June 4th, meteorologist Group Captain James Stagg forecast worsening weather, and Eisenhower postponed the invasion by 24 hours. The entire fate of Western civilization balanced on a weather report. Across the Channel, German forecasters predicted the same storm and concluded an Allied invasion was impossible. Field Marshal Rommel was so confident the weather made an attack unthinkable that he'd left Normandy to buy his wife birthday shoes in Paris. Innovation number 1. A weather window so narrow it was practically invisible. And it worked because the Germans didn't believe anyone was crazy enough to use it. But it's just past midnight on June 6th, and the chaos has already begun. Pathfinder beacons drop in the wrong fields. Paratroopers scatter across miles of flooded Norman countryside. Men drown in fields barely knee-deep because their gear weighs as much as a small car. By 3:25, Lieutenant Colonel Terence Otway has gathered only 170 of his 635 planned paratroopers. He must take the Merville Battery, guns that could obliterate Sword Beach, with a quarter of his force. He attacks anyway. It works. Barely. Innovation number 2. Sheer, terrifying improvisation by men who refuse to acknowledge the math. Here's the twist you didn't see coming. Some of the chaos was the plan. Operation Fortitude invented an entire army group out of thin air. Commanded by Patton, massed on paper in southeast England, poised to strike Calais. Inflatable tanks, fake radio traffic, ghost armies built from canvas and signal noise. The dam-busters dropped aluminium chaff to paint a phantom armada on German radar heading for Calais, while the real fleet slipped through the dark toward Normandy. The deception worked so well that German command held back reinforcements for hours after the landings began. Innovation number 3. The biggest lie in military history, told in inflatable rubber and static. Now it's 06:30, and everything goes wrong at once. American troops land at Omaha without their armored support. Despite the rough seas, DD tanks were launched 400 to 600 meters from shore. 27 of 32 sank. Men in the landing craft look back and see nothing but whitecaps and the oily shimmer of metal going under. A company, 116th Infantry, suffers an estimated 70% casualties. All its officers and NCOs are killed or wounded. 20 miles east, it's a different war. British and Canadian troops used Hobart's funnies heavily on Gold, Juno, and Sword. Tanks with flails to detonate mines, tanks that laid carpet on sand, tanks that breathed fire, tanks that became bridges. A third of the funnies were offered to the Americans. They declined. After Omaha, a lot of people questioned that call. Innovation number 4. The weirdest machines ever built, and the Americans said no thank you and paid in blood for it. By mid-morning, Omaha is still a catastrophe, until 2 destroyers push within a kilometer of shore, keels nearly scraping bottom, to deliver naval gunfire support. Improvised, unplanned, decisive. But winning the beach is only half the problem. The Germans had turned every major port into a fortress, betting the Allies couldn't sustain an invasion without one. So the Allies built their own harbors, dragged them across the Channel. The surviving British Mulberry ultimately landed 2.5 million men, 500,000 vehicles, and 4 million tons of supplies. Innovation number 5. If you can't capture a harbor, Bring one with you. And here's the final twist. Had Eisenhower delayed again, the next window was June 17th. A catastrophic storm arrived June 19th, so powerful it wrecked one of the two Mulberry harbors. The window that looked like a desperate gamble was the only window that existed. Eisenhower later wrote, "I thank the gods of war we went when we did." That's D-Day in its truest form, not a flawless masterstroke. A sequence of near disasters held together by weather forecasters, inflatable tanks, flying dustbins, and engineers who built a port the size of Dover in a week. If you want to understand history, study the minutes before the victories, when everything was on the edge and someone had to think fast. Subscribe. We've got more near disasters to dig through. And drop in the comments. Which D-Day innovation mattered most? Make your case.